Hi, and welcome to Monode Marking's first ever drive-through trade show. I'm going to be your moderator, JT Mackey. You're going to hear a lot of noises in the background because we're outside. What I'm going to do is I'm going to flip. You're not going to see me the rest of the time. If you do hear me muffled, what I'm going to be doing is putting my mask on and off, because if I'm going close to people and or to some of the displays, I'm going to have to put my mask on based off social distancing rules. But I really appreciate everybody joining us and can't wait to show you what we have in store for you. All right, I'm going to flip this, and as we're going live, we see our entrance. And we're going to kind of show you the setup. I'm going to do a quick walkthrough first to show you how you would feel if you were driving through, and then we'll go through and kind of hit the stations each time. So we have a greeter station as you walk through, and this is where we kind of tell you the deal of it. We give you the menu for our food trucks, and look at this. We have someone coming in right now, and we have more people coming in too. This is fantastic. All right, now as I'm walking, please feel free to type on the chat to ask any questions, because I can always go back and visit things. So we invite you in, we give you a little flyer about who we are. This is where some of our door prizes are. And as I walk down, we're going to have different areas for people to park. So if you have big questions about what you're doing, and if you are coming down here, we can always park you down here and address the very specific details that you have. If you just have some general ideas, I just want to know what you're doing, we will stop the car, go over what we're doing, show you each one of our stations. This is our steel stamp station, and I'm going to kind of walk with the car. And as they walk by, our masked greeters go over a little bit of what we're doing and how we're doing it. Now, this is our steel stamp station. Oh, there we go. A lot of different parts that we'll show you a little later as we're walking through. As you walk around, we have a full trade show layout. Our videographer, you can see some of our people talking and walking as we go. This is our etch station. We have some of our custom machines on one side, and we allow people to park on the other side if, again, they have questions. We have our etch station over here. Hello. And as we walk down, we're going to see our pin marking station with all our different pin marking solutions. On this side here, we have some of our custom solutions, and again, we're going to go over those as we walk through. But we have all these different solutions set up. We even have a computer in the back showing off some of our software. It's a fantastic display here. We go over to our laser station, and again, some more custom solutions over on the other side. We hand out laser samples to everybody who walks through. We have a sample of every single thing that we're showing here, so people get an idea of what we mark and they have a takeaway. And then as we walk through this, we're going to bring you over around our parking lot to what a lot of people like too, because in your car, never leaving, we have a VIP area in the RV, and then we have the food truck. So this allows people to get the food that they're looking for as we're waving people through with appropriate social distancing. And also, in their car, right in our facility, have a nice meal on us, enjoy their day. They need to talk a little more. We have a little station set up in the RV there, and everything is set up, as you can see, very smoothly. You pull out and you have driven through a trade show. As I'm walking, like I said, if you have any questions or want to see anything more, just ask a question for us and we'll definitely go into those details. There's a custom machine right there that they opened and closed. I think we're going to see that action in 1 second here. This is a great event. You can see how we're talking to everybody in their vehicles and walking them through what we do here. So what I'm going to start here with and kind of go to a little bit more detail is our laser marking. So we have a sample plate of just some of the marking that we do on the different substrates or plastics or metals.
Oh, okay. Yeah, perfect. Absolutely.
And then we have a lot of our marking machines actually set up. This right here is our Echo machine. It's an industrial solution that can mark a lot of different tabletop needs depending on your size. We can scale that any way you need there. I'm trying to make sure I can show you some of the samples that we have. And I'm just going to hover over this for a second to make sure that it takes its time so it can focus on what you need there to see.
That's a $600 solution.
And this is our Bravo solution here.
Actually, as long as it's a metallic object, it's just got to be conductive. So you go and have anything anodized.
And this is a cost-effective laser solution that again is tabletop and allows you to put into this window. It's a very specific window what you need to make.
Maybe a milkshake.
And then right here is our vision systems, and we have a lot of different vision systems to help any of your, if you have the 2D traceability needs, Mil Standard 130, ATA Spec 2000, there's a lot of different specs out there. Mil 130, like I said, we can help you comply to any of those specs with our vision systems. Across the way, I'm going to show you one of our custom hanging solutions. It's just 2 of our portable pin markers. And we're also showing off one of our frames. This frame we actually do laser and steel stamp with. We can actually make an 8-axis Cartesian robot that will allow you to mark this frame in a lot of different orientations. This is a great way to show off how a portable pin marker works. I can sit here, click a button, and it would mark on this radius. And you can actually hit a tube, no problem. I'm going to try to show you the best way I can how it hits that radius and how that works. All right, walking over here, we're going to look at the flip cart that we have here. We have a very, very big aerospace part showing off. And what's the unique thing about this flip cart is that we actually fabricate these in-house, and we can make it fit to any of your specific needs. So we can make this bigger, smaller. You tell us the part range that you need and we're able to do that for you. And what's nice about this cart, a lot of the aerospace people really like this, is that you can move this on multiple axes right here. We can do different size pin tips, and you can really hit it just about any angle. So I can lay my part here and I can hit this in so many different ways, because instead of just going straight up and down or laying it on its side, I can hit all those really obscure angles, and it makes it really easy to hit those parts. And what's really nice about this specifically is that it's one plug. So the computer and everything is integrated into this. And I want to make sure I get the right angle for you there. Oops, apology if this is kind of wiggly here for a second. There we go. So, what it does allow you to do though is just one plug, so you can move this around your shop in any of your needs that you have and just plug it in and move it as you need. So it's a very fantastic portable solution, as it were, because it's a portable working station. Right here is what we have, another portable working station. It's again all an intact system. It's called the Revolution. And the Revolution is designed for what they call it. It's a couple different ways that they make it, but it's a security tape. This is a full laser. It has a vision system built into it. And in that vision system, what it can do is, if you need the data matrix, especially for the IUID labels or any of the 2D labels that you're trying to do for asset traceability, you will feed it through, it comes out completely verified, and then you just take the labels and put it out there. Now this is kind of crazy. It just looks like kind of a sticker is what people would think that it would look like, but this is actually a 2-part label, and it actually evaporates and lasers with this very powerful laser the first layer of it, and then there's a suction, there's a ventilation system and everything else underneath here, all built in, and you can still even mark little plates in here too if you needed to, depending on the size of what you need to do. It's a very nice solution for that specific application that you need. And if you're doing a lot of those security tapes, one of our big customers for this is the Air Force. The US Air Force uses a lot of these for their assets. I'm going to walk across here and we're going to look at some of our other pin markers. And right now this is the D2 Touch Plus. This is our newest marker that we have on the market. It's a fantastic marker. You can kind of see the height of it there. What you have here is an auto touch off mechanism going up and down, power Z, with a touch screen integrated into the head. Okay, this also allows you to work off of a computer and a software, computer with software in it too, so you can plug in the computer and software. It does have Wi-Fi too, so instead of just plugging in, you can use the Wi-Fi and go into it that way. So there's a lot of different available options for this machine here. I just want to make sure you get all the angles on it as we're moving forward. A nice fast machine, great workhorse when you're trying to do all your part marking. Another one that is great is the ice machine. This is a non-Z-axis, so you're gonna have to crank that Z-axis up and down. So it's just less options than the one over here. But this also has, this one we're showing off the rotary, so you can do rotary marks. You can also do that on the one over here. Same concept. I have the touch screen that I can touch the screen and or put software to. And it's one of our top sellers right now, because a lot of people really like the concept of the fact that they don't have to buy a PC for it or anything like that. Now behind me, I'm going to show you for a second Traceable IT, and we have it just here, but it's just a bigger version of it on the screen. It's a little bit easier to see. This is our software. So the software that we have here is our flagship software. This software is very unique because what it allows you to do is take any of the things I'm showing you here, be it a pin mark, a laser, or an etching machine, and put it under one software interface. And what's nice about this is the production interface side of it. The user can, with a touchscreen or with anything else, just click this button and it starts to cycle. So we make a very easy user interface for the people on the floor, and you can bring in all these other pieces. The dot matrix that you see here also allows you to bring vision in under the same software. So there's just so many different little pieces to this that you can bring in one interface. So instead of having to open up all these different screens and tabs and everything else that you normally would have to do, our software allows you to integrate all this in very, very easily and seamlessly. The user then just opens it up or scans a barcode or anything of that nature, clicks a button, and it works. Now I have a question in from Jim. He wants to know how many different pin markers we sell. Well, I got to tell you, Jim, we do sell a lot of different pin markers. The best way for me to explain that to you, though, is it's the style of pin markers, and I can do that right here, so it's a perfect time for me to show this to you. We have column-mounted pin markers. Okay, so in this world, I have the light duty. I have one that has a little bit heavier duty frame that doesn't have the power Z, and I have this one. So there's three in this in this series right here. That's a column mounted world because it's a desktop one that you just put on your desktop. Now I have a handheld one, which I have over here, and this comes in 3 different sizes, and this one has a controller built to it. So I have 3 of these. Okay, now I also, across the way, have other ones that are all the same concept. So they're column mounted. I can take that column here that I just showed you, and I'm just going to pan over here. I can take this column and I can put it on this cart if you needed me to. Okay, so the big thing that's good for us is our custom marking. So if you need to bring the marker to the part, you do a portable. This one's very portable, but I'm going to show you the ultra portable one in a second. Then the last type of pin marker that I have, Jim, is the integrated style. Now the integrated style is something that you put like in a machining center, or you could sometimes do invertedly, that you have a very specific application that you don't really need anything to move. So you just, you know, I put it underneath it and hit it every time. That's what an integrated series are, and we have 4 different sizes of that. I'm going to show you really quick, and I'm going to jump back to the last type of marker that we have. This is our ultra portable. This is our handheld pin marker, the M series. Okay, I have this size. This is the M53 and the M155, the bigger one. This runs by a battery and works with both Android and iOS versus the other ones which work off this controller. And the controller can either work just like the embedded ones over there, where I can type on the controller or run it off of software from my computer. The last thing I have for pin marking, and to kind of give you the answer of the range, because again, there's so many different configurations in my ranges themselves, so the options that you choose, is this guy here. This is a simple marker. This is a pneumatic style marker, which means you need air for it, okay? So you need to put air to it. This is the most cost-effective pin marker on the planet. This is less, in pin marker world, you're usually looking between anywhere from probably $5,000 to all the way up to $35,000 to $70,000, but the normal range is anywhere between, I would say, $5,000 to $15,000. This one is sub $5,000 by a lot of that. So this one is run by Android or iOS, and this is the cheapest one on the planet. So that is a, you know, again, when it comes to price, it's that way, but from quality, this thing will work every day. And that's just an amazing new product that we have called the Simple Marker that we've been showing off, that has really just been turning heads because they're just impressed at the price, the quality, and what it can do. Again though, everything else I just showed you here needs electricity. This one needs air. Jim, thank you very much for that question. That helps a lot. As we're walking around, I am going to go across real quick here, say hi to one of our guests. And I'm going to show you this. This is a pedestal marker. This is used a lot of times in the automotive world. We have a specific head on there. I could show you that a little bit later as we walk through. But you actually, it's a light, tight solution with a built-in computer for controls. I'm going to kind of walk around this so you can see this. That goes into an automated line. So if you are an automated person, if you understand that, the PLC world, that type of lingo, this will make sense to you. But we have all the different ways of doing it, and what we were able to do, we have this nozzle that I can actually show you real quick so I can tie this together. But we have a nozzle that can make a light, tight solution that can go right to the part. And that's a very unique innovation that we have at Monode, that we have been able to really help with the VIN marking world and a lot of other solutions when it comes to that factory automation. So what it looks like is something like this. This is our specific nozzle that we've developed that allows the laser to be part of here, and then allows this to go to the part and make a light tight solution. A couple more secrets past that, and if you want to know more, give us a call and we'll definitely tell you that. Walking over here, I have another, Jim, to the question of how many different pin markers. So those are the 3 main categories, right? So you have your column mounted, you have your portable, and you have your integrated. Well, then when you take a custom solution like these carts, you can do even more with that, right? So here's another thing that I can show you that can kind of give you a better idea of how this works. This is another solution where the customer wanted integrated vision, which is here, on their part. So they put their part in, it marks it and reads it at the same time. They also wanted a light curtain so that the user, when they put their hands in, couldn't hurt themselves. It was a safety regulation that they had at their factory. So we were able to build and fabricate this entire solution for them. One of our other specific things that we do very well is we bring all the pieces to the PC outside. So if you wanted to plug into the computer, you can actually just do that, so you don't have to worry about going into it. You can have plugs and everything else. And once again, one plug on the outside, and you can move this around your factory. This one, if you see that gap on the bottom, this one actually allows you to raise the height up and down with this handle, because that was another need from this customer specifically. Another custom solution that we have, as we're walking back to the etching solutions, is this laser solution. This is our deep marking laser. Deep marking laser is our normal laser head that we can choose different wattages, so we can make it deeper or not. You'll see that the this has movable suction as you need to for what it is. This one happens to be specifically mounted because of what the customer needed. And this allows the user to put their part in, load it, and then bring this down as they need to and create the light tight enclosure that's needed for lasers to operate it. Again, people really like these parts because again, they can roll them anywhere they need to. And by rolling this anywhere they need to, it just makes it more modular for their factory solutions. So that is the other, just another solution that we have when it comes to that. Now, I see more people coming through. This is fantastic. We're gonna go over to etching. So what we're gonna do here is kind of go over our etching and what we do for etching here.
Hi. How are you?
This is our AM25. This is a pneumatic solution that allows you to put our stencils on this, and what it will do is go up and down, up and down. And by doing this, if I was to put my part here like this, okay, I could just do this. It actually puts the electrolyte in here. So the electrolyte feeds through the top of this, and by the electrolyte feeding through the top of this, it will mark this quickly. So I can mark this and put this away, mark this, put this away. This machine, when you're looking for high volume static etching, so it doesn't change the things over and over again, can mark up to about 1,200 parts an hour if you needed to do that, okay? So with electrochemical etching though, here's just some samples that we have here. I believe they're showing some more to the cars right now.
Taking this one.
But just some ideas of what we do for electrochemical etching. We have some of our stock parts that we always have ready to ship on display here. We have one of our printers here. We have a power unit, and I think what we're going to do is a live etching demo in a second when when the car pulls away here. And then what we do in this cart, which is really nice, is we kind of just did and this shouldn't jump too much here, just shows a little bit of a display of all of our different electrolytes. Now our electrolytes, a little bit differently than a lot of our competitors. Most of our competitors have about 20 to 30 electrolytes. We have 126 different electrolytes. And that's very important when it comes to your needs and how we want to kind of dial in that look for what your specific marking and etching quality is. And it just gives us a bigger toolbox to help you. Right now we're just kind of showing off our different power units. We have our digital and our analog power units. They use the same transformer, but what it allows you to do is have that meter time. There's a lot of variables when it comes to etching, so this helps take away some of those variables by doing so. Then we also have our 9300 printer. And if you see in here, there's this blue paper. And this blue paper, there's also a green paper too. We make all this paper in-house. It allows you to print the paper, and if you have variable stencils instead of our fantastic, by far best in the world stencils that can last anywhere from 1 to 10,000 impressions. So Pat, if you wouldn't mind, can you show me that? Show me a quick sample of etching. So that's our stencil right there. That one can last 1 to 10,000 impressions. She's just going to paint that on real quick like that, and seconds later, you have a mark. There you go. And that's chemical etching done. So depending on what electrolyte you're using and how it's working, that's what you normally would use. You buy a stencil, the stencil would last a long time, but some people need serial numbers, some people need some sort of variable data. So what they would end up doing is using this blue paper or this thermal paper that comes out of here and bringing that in-house, or they do some sort of complementary piece where they will either get the stencils for their logos, because these don't have the best quality when it comes to fantastic logos. So they'll do a stencil for their logo, and then they use the paper for their serial numbers and things of that nature. Some of our old displays that we wanted to show everybody kind of what we did. This is kind of interesting to see. This showing off just our manufacturing capability, but also this one here was just an insane solution that we made. This has, I believe, 9 different cameras on it. It was a full robot that could mark different angles. It was absolutely crazy. This is the Revolution marking right there, the live of that. We can do solutions that can fit on your line as they're rolling through. This right here, that motorcycle frame, that's the actual in-action shot of that making the connection of the nozzle that I was showing you, making that to that motorcycle frame. And again, it can be on that pedestal also. And I believe we just showed something very close to that earlier, but we can do lights, we can do so many different configurations, and that's what's so great about our company and our family, is that we love helping you in any way that we can. I'm going to scan over here. We're going to go over to the steel stamp area. And again, any other questions that anybody has, feel free to ask. We love helping out anybody any way we can, especially if you can't make it here. Love to have you if we can. All right.
Oh, nice.
So,
Perfect.
our steel stamp display, just to kind of go over this a little bit, what we have here is static, off-the-shelf marking. This is the easiest way to show this, I think, here. Numbers and letters, okay? I think that, let me see here, there we go. If everybody knows this, this is just numbers and letters, okay? So if I want to mark an A, this thing here will save my hand. I put it here, I hit it with a hammer, and I mark it. I think I did a live action shot there. Hopefully that went through okay. So if you want a stock solution and says, okay, you know, I just need to get some of these numbers and letters out there, we have all those, and we have those capable for you based on the quality and there's different grades of these. So in your industrial needs, if you're hitting these every single minute, you would want a different quality than the ones, you know, periodically that you do it. That's how you relay the price of these type of things for these type of letterings. Now, when you're not doing those, there's another way to do that. There's these insert type of stamps, and these insert stamps are pretty cool too, because what you do is you take this holder that's got a little blank on it here, okay? And it's still a hand stamp like those numbers and letters are, so you call these hand stamps because you're holding them in your hand. And what this allows you to do is insert letters and numbers, right, into here, so it's a little bit more variable. You put it in with the screw, and then, again, you're hitting it again with a hand. Now, when you have a press or something that's marking over and over and over again quick, there's going to be a lot of different custom pieces, and this is a really good example of that. So there's so many different ways that people have these in presses that we're just trying to show a small example of that so people get it. And another thing I'm going to just kind of pan over quickly here, if you see this, one other thing that we do that we're really proud of here is we have the capability of marking really, 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 and I say really, small, and I'm going to go back over to this thing. This is the top of a soda can. There's a die that makes it, and if you can see these little letters, these very, very, very small little letters, okay? Someone does that. Those people are us. Those are really hard to do over and over again, and if you see that, that's what those look like. We can do that too. If that's something that you need, call us. That is absolutely something that we do in our industry, and it's very important to understand that, because the people who know that will know what it is, and they'll be able to call us. And we're looking for people that are looking for that thing. So this is a really good example. I think I showed this the other day, but I don't know if this is a better way to see it. Is, you know, when you go into when you're flying, you see that word lift. You see that mark here that's very, you can feel it. You see how my thumb's going through it, you can feel it. That's an indentation, and that is steel stamp. It looks like Jim has another question, and the question is that, you know, how do I determine what is the right marking method for me? That's a good question, Jim. I appreciate that one, and I'm going to tell you that. It's very easy. First of all, you have to have a question, and I'm going to walk around a little bit. We're going to go see how people are doing over on the food truck side real quick as I'm walking. Is it static or is it dynamic? Okay, so if it's static, I'm going to mark the same thing over and over again. So let's say we're just going to mark the word Jim on 30,000 pieces, and we're just going to mark it over and over and over again. So the first thing I would do is, if you said that, I would go to the most cost-effective technology I have, and it would be either steel stamp or it would be electrochemical etching. So if you're only marking 30,000 once, and that's all you need, I can either make you a stamp, or I can sell you an etching unit for a little bit around the same price, depending on what you're looking for. And I mean, depending on if you're going to hit that stamp, or, you know, you need a press, or however you get there. And by doing that, you're going to be able to do that very quickly, very rapidly, and get it done. Now, what if you have more stuff? What if it's a rolling serial number? What if it's a part number, something of that nature? That's another story. Okay, so if it's something that's just simply rolling, and you just start at 3 zeros or 10 zeros, whatever the number is, we have ways of with steel stamp we can have a numbering head that will just advance automatically. With etching, you're going to have to buy one of those printers and be able to print that inside. Once you start getting to that level, you want to look at automation. Automation is either the automated version of etching is the laser, and the automated version of steel stamp is pin marking. So, I've been hearing some feedback that the wind is bad, and I'm going to do the best I can to cut the wind as we're walking around and talking to people too. I'm going to actually turn away then, and I'll cut that interview here so that potentially the wind's to my back and you guys can hear that a little bit better. So once we, back to that same question, once we have the static or dynamic thing figured out, then we figure out the level of automation. The next thing you have to do is kind of check your print and say, okay, am I allowed to put any structural stress or a stress mark into the actual part itself? So with steel stamp or even pin marking is less stress because it's a series of dots. But sometimes those little deformed pieces to it, or how it deforms it, can hurt the part. So there's a lot of the aerospace parts, they didn't like steel stamp, that's why etching was made. But it was okay to do dot peen, and I'm going to show you why dot peen is different. The steel stamp, as I showed you, that word lift was all in one word. Right here, if I can show this to you, let's see if it makes sense. I think I can get this focused correctly. Is you see the dots, and these dots here don't touch. So it's these little dimples that make it different in a dot peen, and that's a less stress mark. And the aerospace people are okay with that. They say that's all right. We can put that on the mark. So then I can automate that, and it may not go as fast as a steel stamp. Steel stamps, ba-boom, 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 ba-boom. But with a dot peen, and I think we have a demo here that I could potentially show, is I can pull the trigger, and I think I got one here set up. Let's see if it does work. If not, we definitely have it on our website that we can show. There we go. So, as you can see, it's not going ba-boom, ba-boom, like I said, but it is moving fast enough. So if, depending on your throughput and what you need, will be your next part of this. Like how do I figure out what does that 30,000 need to be done in a week? Does it have to be done in a month? That's the next question that we would ask you to figure that out. This is probably very loud, so I'm just going to pull that off and stop it. So that's how the dot peen would work. The laser has some other deals too, because with the etching, as I showed you, with etching, it's a matter of it actually removes and replaces above and below the sine wave. That's fantastic, because by doing that, it's the least amount of stress possible on a part. Period. Okay. But with a laser, it's actually it's a control. There's heat involved in it, and there's a way to do it with annealing, and there's ways to make it less. But the deal is too, and I'll just show you this laser mark here. You can actually feel it, and there are ways to do that so that it takes a lot less time when it goes that way. But there could be rules on what your specification says that may not let you do that. So once you've gotten over the specification, let's say you can use whatever you want, well then cost comes into it too. So once you figure out which way it's working, how many people, how many parts per day, per year, per month you have to mark, then you're able to determine, okay, based on that, this is where my budget would be for my marking part. After you've done that, we can then definitely help you fit one that, find something that fits your budget correctly. And then do you need any software solutions that would go with that? So with etching, it's a fantastic solution for, in a lot of areas. And here's another really good dot peen mark. You can kind of see that right there. Etching is a great solution, but there's liquids involved. So there's the electrolyte or salt water, and then you have to neutralize it, and a lot of times you put a rust protective oil on top of it. So it's a 2 to 3 part process to make sure that you've appropriately, made sure the part has gone through your cycle. if you don't have that time, the laser may be an easier way. It's cleaner, but it's the most expensive solution based off that etch. So really, Jim, I hope I'm answering your question right. And I think what we're going to do here is we're going to go back to the front and see where we're at with some more questions, and move over to a couple more details that we can show you guys. Again, I really appreciate everybody being live, and we are here for you, and this is a fantastic event. I'm very excited for it to happen. I'm trying to walk a little bit differently here to see if that helps with the wind. Hopefully it does. I'll go back to the wind. I'm missing some of the cars and everything else, but that's okay. We'll make it all work so people can hear me.
How you doing, sir?
So, hi sir, we're live on Facebook right now. Good, how are you?
How you doing?
So our next move here, we're going to go to our front area here. Christopher. Hey Christopher, we're going to have you say a few things for Facebook.
Yes.
How's everything going?
Wonderful. Wonderful.
What have you been seeing so far?
People are excited that they get to stay in their car and see all the equipment and learn something new about a company in their neighborhood.
You've done a fantastic job. This is a great idea. I want to give you all the credit for this one, but I got to say, this is, so far, everybody we've seen has just had smiles on their face. It seems like they understand what we're doing. Makes it easy for them.
The free cheeseburger has a lot to do with that, I gotta be honest.
I couldn't agree more with that. It does make it easy too. So hopefully we get more people to come down. Door prizes are always good too.
They're going.
All right, we're gonna keep walking and going. All right, let me know how the wind noise is. If we have some more problems, I'll try to walk backwards more, which is fine. A couple more things we can talk about just to round out our product line is, and I can show you some more on this on the steel stamp side. Right here, it's kind of interesting. This is the machine. So the other way that we can mark that frame for the motorcycle is this one. This kind of looks like a wheel that you would see in an old typewriter, and we actually make this wheel. When it's done, this is the output. It'll actually do one at a time. It's about 8 tons per squeeze, but that's how it actually impacts this into a motorcycle frame. That's a very interesting piece. Another interesting steel stamp piece is what we call here is a roll marker. So what this is, this die here, you put it on a machine and it rolls like this. So let's say you have a pen and you wanted to put this number on there, it would squeeze this and it would just roll like this, or fittings, anything of that nature. It just rolls and squeezes. And this can put out thousands and thousands of parts an hour because it's just going like this and it's just pressure going through. And that's one of those type of how it's made type moments where you see it and go, oh, I get it now. And there's a lot of different ways that can happen. So, you know, you just have a little ramp up and pop it through. You want a really, really big stamp? There you go. You can make really big stamps too. Now, a lot of these, there's actual mechanisms for that. It's kind of like a gun where you put it in and it will pop. It will do the stamping for you, because at some point you can't hit a hammer that deep into what you're looking for. So there are different. A lot of people make different things that will make that work for you. Going over to etching, as we talked about, we have the digital and analog units, paper, the different electrolytes. What we have to talk about a little bit more is the difference between the thermal paper and the blue paper. A lot of people, you know, nowadays are looking for a way to advance the different papers when they're doing the printer. And I'm going to try to bring this in here so you can see it. would you mind pulling out the white paper for me, if you wouldn't mind? Is there a way to do that, or is that locked in? Fantastic. Here, I got it right here. So, the blue paper, as you can see a mark on this, okay? So when you put it over your part, you can actually see the mark. The paper that comes out of our thermal printers, which is fine, it only really works for shallow etching, because with deep etching it goes away. It's a clear paper with essentially like a wax coating, so it's really, really hard to see. And a lot of people they feel like this thermal is the right answer, and we're always trying to make sure they understand that it's not very easy to use from a user perspective. It is a little bit better resolution, not nearly as good as the resolution from our stencils, as you can see right here, but it definitely helps if you have to do that variability inside your shop. So while we have it here, there's a lot of questions that are always asked of us about those different things, and we might as well show you. Like I said, it's a specific printer that we have, that we sell, and that's how you can do that inside your area. There are also one other thing that I'd like to show you is a lot of people that know etching have these type of pads. Most of our, a lot of our competition and a lot of other places sell these type of pads, and they think etching is this way. As you can tell, this is a very small, thin pad on top of it, and it doesn't do the best job of marking. Our markers that we prefer selling have a thicker pad, and we make all these pads in-house. So it's a thicker pad with a more like a carbon type of a marker, and you can get a way better marker with that. So if you're doing any electrochemical etching and you're having any problems, and you got a marker that looks something like this, you know, whatever color top it is, and you see like this screen on the side of it, and you want to do a quick fix for it, give us a call, and simply by changing to this marker, you can improve your etching tenfold by just changing your marker. All right, let's go over to pin marking a little bit more, touch base on it. So I want to talk more about this machine here, because this is by far one of our top sellers, and I talked a little bit more about this a little bit earlier. This is the mobile one, and the mobile unit is just an absolute fantastic idea. First of all, it comes with this case, and it's a vacuum formed case. I'm going to try to scan over this so you can kind of see it. You get 2 batteries, and we also sell a tablet with a holder. You can use any type of iOS or Android device that we have listed on our website on what you can do. But basically, you know, if you want the industrial tablet feel, you can do it that way too. And it's such a simple user interface, and it's such a simple product when it comes to usability, because in general, a lot of people get confused on the programming of how these work. And what's great about this is the engineer can program it in and just say, hey, go out and mark. So this becomes really so much more of a machine tool that they can just grab this and mark here, here, here. Say, you know, I want you to go out and mark these bricks. Okay, I'll go out and mark these bricks. When you're come back, I'll give you a new one. So you really have this capability of doing something different that hasn't been able to be done before in such a simple, easy way. And if you need a bigger one, that's here. Now we do have some different accessories for this too. Here's one of them. So let's say you want that usability that I just spoke of, but you also have some things that are just a little bit too hard to deal with. You know, parts that you can't quite fit that on that handheld unit. Well, what we have here is this accessory here that will allow you to mount the unit, and then in any angle you can turn it this way. You can actually even turn, as you can see here, down here, the whole entire column to go in any direction you want. This thing, and these lines come with a ton of different accessories that have you know, different brackets, any type of different needs that you can think of to fit over flanges, any of those things that you need. We have plenty of literature for it to be able to show you how that works, and it's fantastic. This one comes in a cool little bag here, makes it really easy to carry. Fantastic. Back to this guy, there's only a couple accessories for it, and it's because it's simple. It's meant to be simple. There's no real upgrades from it, because what it is what it is. And the idea of it is that this is a great entry-level marker. So if you have you know, just a low volume of parts, you just need to get some parts done, this simple marker is exactly that, a simple marker that will allow you to do that. By doing that though, there is a restriction. So if you want to go up, if you want to add anything, there's not much to add on this thing, but it does do the job that it says that it's going to do. It has a very specific window, it's a very specific height, and it's a fantastic job to start to go. It's literally one button right here. The I series and the P series are the same concept, or the same deal here. You do need a controller for them. You can get different size cables for each one of them. Most of these you're going to be talking to us because you're going to have a specific application, where normally with even the handheld one, a lot of people think of the application afterwards. You know, they go, oh yeah, I'll figure it out. You know, I'll do something like that. These ones you're going to be talking to us because we're going to have to work on how you're doing it and where it's going from there. And again, we have different size windows for you as it goes. One of our flagships here, the ICE, is it's just so unique because it's cost effective to begin with, and that's a great start to anything that we're talking to. And when you're using it, the fact that you can add a rotary to it, you can add. It has so many different built-in features. It has something called a simple mode that works into it. So as you walk into it, about 80% of what you are going to be using for marking is built into a simple interface that is very easy to use right off the bat. You have your built-in stylus, tap on the screen. You'll be marking within 10 to 15 minutes in simple mode. And then there's also an operator mode where once you have your different layouts locked in, then you can make it so the operator can't get to those, and it's all built in right to the interface. And a lot of people just use that built in on the screen. You don't have to worry about working into your network and everything else. It's good to go. And this is the same concept. It's just you're adding more bells and whistles, and again, you're capable of doing that. Now, when you do want to go to your network, that's when you go to our software. And our software has so many layers to it, but for all the right reasons. So I'm gonna try to do this here, but basically what it allows is you can design almost anything you could possibly think of with all these different capabilities. You can talk to databases, you can talk back from databases, you can get information here and there. You have multiple layers of security, so many different things that you can do to figure out your application that we are able to help customize that in any way for you. As a user on your own, you're able to figure out just a very fantastic, it's got a deep bench. You can do so many different things with it, just a matter of what you need to do and why you need to do it. Our vision system is kind of unique. So there are handheld vision systems or reading systems where when we talk about visions and reading, you're talking about that little barcode, and I can show you that real quick. Kind of looks like the QR code, but it's called a data matrix. Let's see if I can focus on this for a second here. Okay, so that would be what it would look like right here, and we're one of the foremost authorities in that. When UID and this data matrix was all started, we were with them from the beginning. So if you see all these different samples here, and this is some on even on plastic that we're able to do. These little matrices they look like the QR code, but they're called data matrix. They're actually invented by NASA, and this is a very, very popular thing with a mil standard 130. So what we're able to do here is, this is a modular system where you can change the lenses, and what's kind of the unique thing is here, you can change the lighting, but the way we change the lighting is,
I think one just pulled in, I'm not sure.
It's super simple. You just unscrew this area and you can pop this in and out. I'm going to not do this right now because we have the show, but you can actually just pop these in and out, and the lights automatically know what they do in the software, and they will. There's a reporting part to the software, to the software when you're doing any of these type of readings. It will automatically categorize what light you're using for the software as you're pulling this in and out and changing your lighting, so it makes it very easy and hands-free. So that's a fantastic feature that we have. I just got a question for how we do our customer service and what our customer service is about. And our customer service is something we absolutely pride ourselves on. We have a live chat option, but if you go to our website, there's an area that says service. And if you simply just put in a service ticket for anything you need, we get back to you usually within 15 minutes. That's usually our during our normal business hours is what we do. We offer 24-hour support if you're on contract or anything of that nature. We have a full team of people ready to help you in all times to help you get through it. We offer support packages. That's something that we absolutely pride ourselves on, as our support. So anything that you guys need, any way that you need, if you have any questions for us, just pop it into the support thing. Would you mind closing and opening that real quick? We're going to show this real quick so you kind of see this. This is a custom marker that we made. It actually is a double-sided pin marker. So there's a pin marker you'll see there. This is fully made by us, fabricated by us, designed by us, based off the specification for the aerospace industry. Really cool to see how it closes and opens. And that's how they would load and be ready to mark their software. Thank you so much, appreciate it. And the pin marker will be made by that. Again, you can just make it in any possible way that you need to as this works. I think we're going to take one more stroll to the front, see how everything's going. I really appreciate everybody's on the live stream right now. And I think I know this family coming in, so I'm going to say hi to them. All right. We have a new customer. Hi guys.
Wait, are you still on? Oh yeah.
You guys are live on Facebook. You're on YouTube. You guys enjoying? Make sure you talk to people to show you how it all works. Thank you for coming. All right, that was a cheater. That was my family. I had to say hi to them.
Yep, because okay. More of a kind. I like you.
Well, we're going to do one final walk by. Again, I think that covers everything. I really appreciate everybody tuning in. I appreciate all the fantastic questions. Thank you so much. We'll post this shortly after. We'll add any comments that we have from there. And we shall answer any questions you have. If you want to hit us at www.monode.com and put into any inquiries that you have, call us at 440-975-8802. Or, if you hit the live chat when it's on, there's either a form to talk to us, or you can hit us when we are live. We'll talk to you. There's a million ways to get a hold of us, and we're here to help you with your marking solution. Thank you so much. I'm going to try to do this so there's no wind. We got another customer coming in right now, which is fantastic. Okay. Well, thank you so much, and you guys have a great day, and we're going to stop from there.